been about a year since we were here talking about Halo 4. Back then, we couldn't really say much, but somehow we stretched it out into an entire hour. But we have some cool stuff to share with you today. Real quick, just want to start out with introductions, and then we have something cool to show everyone here today. My name is David Ellis, I'm a designer at 343. And joining me today is Kiki Wolfkill, executive producer on Halo 4. Josh Holmes, franchise creative director. Kenneth Scott, art director on Halo 4. And Kevin Franklin, lead war games designer. So we're going to kick things off real quick here. We actually are premiering a brand new behind-the-scenes video of Halo 4 here today. I'm just going to cut to the chase and hit play. Sets the table pretty nicely. Here we are today, we're less than 70 days away from launching Halo 4 on November 6th of this year. This is a journey that started about three and a half years ago. And Kiki, I know you have some thoughts on kind of how this whole foundation was set back then.
I do. Before we get to that, I do want a few call-outs. We have some of the folks who are in the video here. I'll start with some of the 343 folks. You guys should raise your hands.
You can get out the beanbags.
There's really nothing more graceful than a PAX beanbag chair.
Yeah, those chairs can be smelling. And we have two incredibly special guests with us here today. You saw them in the video. You're going to become much more familiar with their work as you play through the campaign of Halo 4. But we have Bruce Thomas and Mackenzie Mason, who are we're gonna have a signing after this, right?
We are going to have a signing after this, and we have rescheduled it a few times today. Hope everyone can bear with us. So the signing is going to be actually at 6:45 in the Q Hall. That's in the 4th floor of the Convention Center in the South Hall. If that's difficult to remember, we will do another announcement at the end, and we'll be putting that information out on the Halo Waypoint Twitter and Facebook. Apparently the fire marshals don't like people getting burned up. They're sort of touchy about that, so we had to reschedule it. So kind of going back to where it all began.
Obviously, the name of the panel is Halo Reborn, and it's so interesting because it's been such a long time since we've talked about that. Halo Reborn was sort of our vision statement for the game, and so back in the 19th century, when it feels like we started working on this game, we defined that as sort of our North Star for the team. So this slide was fun. Literally, this came out of a deck that we created for a prototype exec review back in 2009. But this is really the statement that we've been following, and for us, what it really speaks to is, this isn't Halo reinvented or revisited. It really is reborn, and there's a core DNA to Halo, which I think we all believe in, and there's sort of a new family watching over the IP, and that really flavors and shifts and changes it. Oh, we just lost our signal here.
Yeah.
It's all good. For me, because I don't need the rest of the stuff. But no, I mean, it was really important for the team because it spoke to the team having sort of the flexibility and the creative to flex their individual muscle. We brought such amazing creatives onto the team, many of whom are here on the panel, and I think you'll see that a lot. The video spoke to it. Some of the redesign of existing Halo characters. You'll see it in the game design. You'll see it in all sorts of different areas, and it's really exciting that you guys get to actually play some of those changes. But know that we looked at this as not taking Halo and throwing it out the window and putting it anywhere else. It was there's something that's very core and true, and we want to take that and we want to grow it. Maybe grow it in a little different way because we have some different people who have amazing perspectives that they add to it. So, you know, we looked at it as this is the next generation of Halo, and that's really where Halo Reborn came from.
So we don't actually have our monitor, but we're going to keep going throughout this presentation. So you're going to have to help us out. Crane our neck to the left.
We're winging it.
I think Kiki talked about the core of Halo, and I know speaking for myself, I'm sure there are others out there. For myself, is obviously the Master Chief is a huge part of the Halo franchise, and being able to bring him back after 5 years in Halo 4, it's just a huge task to undertake, and Kenneth and his team really started that journey several years ago, and I wonder if you can talk a little bit, Kenneth, about what this process was like for you for bringing the Chief back, as we kind of switch over to the next slide, which actually is a pretty cool picture, and Kenneth can give you a little bit of history on that one.
In fact, it will be a little bit embarrassing because I did this, but this was actually the very first sketch we did of Master Chief 3 years ago when we were actually trying to hunt down our vision of what Halo 4 was going to be. The thing that we did kind of find here, I think, was the challenges kind of intersecting from the expectations that all of you had, the things that the team itself really wanted to invest in this character, bringing all this kind of new experience into the fray.
Yeah, I'll add this. This is probably one of my singular most favorite images from the concept phase of the game. You know, one of the things we wanted to capture early on was this sense of Chief being this, you know, 900-pound Spartan and this just like giant pile of metal and armor, and also being someone who is powerful and agile, and there's something so dynamic about this image, and it really just captured beautifully all of those pieces.
This particular piece, actually, before we start anything that's sort of like important and pivotal to the game, we actually do a lot of emotional exploration before we actually get to anything tactical. This particular piece sort of resonated with everybody as sort of finding Chief's epic strength, and at the same time there's something, there's some pathos and sorrow about him, like there's a little bit more feeling around this particular execution. And of course, eventually it had to intersect with sort of the practicalities. A lot of the things we wanted to do with Chief was maintain that degree of agility, give animation a lot of opportunity to kind of exploit, find great poses, tell great stories with the character. So we really had to find sort of a mid-ground. Looking back sort of at the time we were looking at what was sort of like the early kind of steps into Reach, and they had this interesting challenge where they were doing characters in the past, and yet they need to make them look cooler. And so we had this additional interesting challenge on top of that. So I was going through all of like Isaac Hannibal's like gorgeous concept art around how the Spartans for Reach, and trying to find a good language that gave us like this character, Master Chief, needs to be front and center across all Spartans and across the entire universe. And so we had a lot of talk-ins, I think, around trying to get him into a place where he resonated.
This is one of my favorite images. I think it shows off a lot of interesting stuff about kind of the personality of the Chief and where he's at.
David Ellis also likes color. So this particular piece was kind of interesting.
This particular piece, I mean,
I'm sorry, it's an awkward moment.
There was, when we were initially building sort of the vision, everybody can understand and has seen that heroic moment where the character is running away from the explosion at the very last minute, escaping. That's a really powerful image. In my head, I'm going, that's not our character. Chief's the dude's going to run into the fire. wish I had a little guitar stand there.
And there we are with Master Chief that you'll all be getting a chance to don his helmet here when Halo 4 launches in November. Of course, Master Chief isn't alone on his journey. He's got someone along to ride with him, and that's Cortana. I'm wondering if there are any specific thoughts on how you see Cortana. I think kind of in the video that everyone just saw, you had some pretty awesome quotes about how you see Cortana and her relationship to the Chief.
I mean, it may sound the tiniest bit redundant, but I think everybody understands Cortana to be sort of Chief's full and reflection of his humanity. So for me, it's hard to think of them as apart from each other. She is very much a Master Chief, or a little piece of this tone.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the connection that the two of them have, and it's pretty much the most intimate connection that you can imagine two beings having, and they're kind of like two halves of the same person. And so, you know, as much as Halo 4 is about the story of the Master Chief, it's also, you know, it's about Cortana's journey as well, and her story.
And so, like with all things, specifically Cortana, because we understand she had a lot of weight on her in terms of the story we wanted to tell. On top of what we know to be the weight of what she's actually going through, we also understand her to be a very, very important part of Chief. So we over-indexed on finding sort of the visual language and the emotional undertone of this particular character. And this is an example of us over-indexing.
I mean, sorry, I'm just going to jump in. I love these images because I think they show so much of the kind of torment and anguish that this character is dealing with, and kind of her fragile mind state. And so, like, seeing these images as Kenneth and the team generated them is just so inspirational and just amazing. So
there's a lot of emotional meat there, because we're essentially dealing with a character who wakes up at the beginning of the game and understands that she's expired. That's a very sad thing, and this particular character, we needed to make sure that was something that she could carry.
Yeah, and I think the exploration that was really interesting there is you have an AI who's not human, who's dealing with a very human condition, which is mortality, right? And dealing with what it means both to face your own mortality and to face also the impact that mortality will have on someone else, which is Master Chief. What is it for her to feel her being gone, and what Master Chief will be after that? And so you have this AI character who's clearly not human, and she's dealing with a very human and emotional condition. And that was a really intriguing thing to sort of visually study. So we spent a lot of time on that.
there's so much in that too. I mean, like you have Cortana in so many ways. She plays many different roles. I mean, in some ways she's almost like a parent to Chief, and then she's a friend and a companion, and you know, all of these different faces of Cortana and ways that she supports the Chief, and the two of them kind of bond and support one another. And yeah, so that was something that was really interesting to explore.
And even though in the story of the campaign she's dealing with this issue of immortality, and there's some dark themes in there, she still has this other side to her that's a little bit lighthearted.
Again, Mr. Ellis loves color. So does the art director, by the way, don't get nervous. This was fun because we realized for her to carry just the emotional weight that she did throughout the story, she needed to be very versatile as an actress. And I think finding this broad range of her ability to be sort of sympathetic and fragile and playful. And I'm born in the 70s, big fan of Twin Peaks, so for me this was like Halo Reborn from Twin Peaks. Did I say Twin Peaks twice?
Look it up.
Somebody can edit that out, right? Okay.
And here we are getting a little bit closer to the Cortana you'll be seeing in game.
This is interesting. During the process, once we finally found this is how we want the character to feel, now we have to work into how do we execute on the specific character. This is what we call a visual target. This is for, just to be layman, I guess, about it, it is a piece of concept art that tries to remove every single bit of ambiguity it can. This is something we can talk to the graphics programmers, the character artists, etc., to execute specifically. Because I photo bashed this out of random stuff off the internet, and believe me, there's more below the cut line. We had to mosaic out the face, unfortunately. But
and we see how that transitioned into the game. and that's Cortana. And of course, Master Chief and Cortana, they have a pretty epic journey and story to play out in Halo 4. And of course, they have some brand new enemies that they're going to be facing. And this year at E3, we introduced the Promethean class, which is the first all-new class of the enemies that Halo's had in a long time. And I think it was important that's not an easy task either. I mean, Chief and Cortana are a known quantity. How do you bring something out of nothing? And I think that was a difficult task to do that. And Kenneth, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what those early concepts were like and how we got to where we are now with the Prometheans.
It was definitely terrifying, but I think it was also the most exciting thing for this group to actually deal with. Because I think very, very early on, we knew we wanted to do this. The fiction was still kind of a moving target. So we just had opportunity just to explore. As you can see, this is artwork by Gabriel Garza, just trying to find ideas. At the time, we were trying to find the arch analog to Master Chief, so it was essentially AI-driven dude in an armor suit, a combat skin. And so this is a massive iteration. From actually working through this idea, we actually built some of those things.
Yeah, I mean, we can't even explain how, in some ways, painful, and in other ways, you know, just I don't know, incredible the journey was for us, because we kept going through so many iterations of this being because we wanted to get it just right. As Kenneth says, like, it's got to be that arch analog, and so it's got to hit all of the right notes, and that meant an incredible amount of iteration and trying different things and ultimately throwing them away and starting over.
Yeah, I think the overarching feedback was there's a degree of visceral satisfaction when you just lose shooting at a robot. For all intents and purposes, that's what we ended up with. So we really tried to work into something that had like a stronger emotional tone, something players could connect with when they shot at it. Some of the earlier... We're running out of time.
No, that's okay. Okay. Some people might recognize this image. We teased it a little bit last year at the Halo 4 panel. Put a little flutter cut at the end of the video, and we thought we did a pretty good job of hiding it, but literally that afternoon people put
the internet is
most of the image together.
Yeah, I was very impressed. I know Photoshop. This was again, before we actually execute on something, we do a deep exploration on the emotional tone of a character, and this is where we felt we kind of nailed it, what we wanted out of this character. This is again another visual target. This is the specifics of we want things to look exactly like this, and so people come to us going, "What do you want the metal to look like? Look at the picture. It's removing ambiguity." And once we figured out what everybody sort of needed out of this character, from animation to gameplay to fiction to storytelling to character, this is the concept where we finally decided, okay, we found it. Let's start building it. And that's our boy.
And this is me slicing that boy with a sword.
And so as far as the Promethean's concerned, that's the birds and the bees.
So we're actually gonna need to do something a little bit unorthodox here. We're still waiting on a monitor, which we actually need. We're gonna be doing a demo of something in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we need somebody to while we're still working on that, and please bear with me, this is very unorthodox, and please, everyone be as calm as possible. I think we're gonna go ahead and take some questions while it's being worked on.
Oh my God.
I know, but
Oh my God, we're off script.
otherwise, you know, we just need to buy some time so we can get this monitor up and running so we can get this demo for you. So calmly,
And
both come on up and try to remember where
the
you're
gentleman
sitting.
helping us with the AV, I will kill you if it's not fixed soon and we get hit with a really hard question.
All right, we're going to go ahead and start taking some questions. We'll start on the left and we'll alternate back and forth. Just remember, everyone, one question per person. And go ahead.
This is a question from Kiki Wolfkill. I would like to know when can we expect to learn more about the other two roadmaps?
So he has a question. The question is, when are we expecting to learn more information about the other two Forge environments that we're introducing in Halo?
So interestingly enough, you will learn just a little bit more about one of those today if this monitor works.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
No pressure.
I got to play the game today, and I've been following it like everybody else has. It looks amazing, and huge steps forward everywhere, but it really looks like Halo. So where is the biggest change where we're going to see 343 to that, and that's.
So the question is,
I'm not 100% sure what the question was, to be honest.
What is 343's signature? What is the biggest step forward you guys have done? Where are we going to notice that change?
Yeah, I think it's a signature that actually is fairly broad, right? Like I think it's I think some of it is in Spartan Ops and moving that forward. I think some of it is in some of our storytelling methodology, right? I think that's something that is really unique to the creative voices we have on the project.
Yeah, I would say, you know, just the commitment to great storytelling and the way that we use that to connect everything that we do from the campaign through to the multiplayer experience, and just, you know, story informs a lot of what we're doing across the entire game experience. I think the other one that we've taken as a pillar of Halo that we all love and that we've kind of really expanded upon is the idea of player choice and empowering players through the sandbox, but also through the ability to customize your individual Spartan and kind of like customize to suit your play style. And that really speaks to one of the things that we love most about Halo, personal expression.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So, map hazards in Halo 2, they were like some of my favorite things, like the train and terminal, or the stalactites in the waterworks. And I was just wondering, is that something you guys ever thought about or are thinking about?
I think if you've seen the build on the floor today, there are lots of vehicles which are gigantic map hazards that are showing off right now. We have lots more maps coming, and I think you're going to be impressed with what's coming for sure. The actual hazards themselves we haven't shown any yet, but the sandbox editions with all the new ordnance options and the vehicles especially have really sort of filled that void in many ways.
Awesome, thanks. The game looks great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys talk about making the entire campaign really just more emotional, with obviously the mocap on the faces and everything like that, and how you didn't want Master Chief to basically be a walking tank anymore. Is that going to translate into gameplay at all, or is it just something that you're going to be experiencing just kind of during the cinematics?
So just make sure everyone can hear the question. You wanted to know that we did a lot of performance capture of the story, and you said you thought we didn't want the Master Chief to be a tank anymore. And would that translate into gameplay, or would it just be something that was communicated through cinematics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say there are a lot of things that we've done throughout the campaign experience where we've made deliberate choices to try and connect the player more deeply with the Master Chief and provide kind of crafted moments where you can experience things through his eyes and hopefully immerse you more in his journey. So it does, I think, connect through the gameplay as well as the cinematic storytelling and presentation. And of course, the story is told through a vast number of different storytelling techniques. Cinematics is one of them, but there are many other techniques that we employ throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a commitment from the team for people to experience the story maybe more than they have versus just watching the story. And so I think the sandbox gameplay is sort of the heart of Halo, so that doesn't change, but I think how we contrast that with moments where maybe you're experiencing the story a little more viscerally and a little more directly is important.
Thank you.
So what was kind of the inspiration for the new class of enemies? I can see there's a lot of very interesting details, like if you look closer, there's the smaller set of arms, and during the cinematic, there's a skull popping out of the helmet, and I thought that was extremely nice, because it gave up the feel of a new enemy, but it also felt like this is something that has been around for a really, really long time, and I just want to know what was kind of the inspiration of that.
Some of that is vestigial from a lot of the work we did very, very early on. Like one of the things that was kind of interesting to kind of play with was the idea that we have the suit, we have the AI, and who's actually in control. And so we had these great opportunities to have characters embedded inside characters and kind of struggling with what does 100,000 years of dormancy do to an AI? And that's just sort of like one of the funny little story examples that kind of made it through to the final character. It's really cool. Thank you.
Hey guys.
First of all, thank you for all of your hard work, really. The elbow grease shows and people like me, fans, longtime fans, really, really appreciate all the little details. Thank you.
Thank you.
That said, one of my favorite aspects. That sounds like security. But seriously though, one of my favorite aspects about the Halo universe is the extended fiction. And specifically one of my favorite things about enjoying the narrative of the Halo universe is, or was, John's relationship with his brothers and sisters, Fred, Kelly, Sam. For people like me who really would like to see more of, what happened during the time that he had with them, in the next 10 years, do you think maybe there's a possibility that we could see that?
So, sorry.
No, I was going to.
I would say we are equally enamored of that storyline and the depth of that, and really the uniqueness of that relationship that the Spartan 2 shared. So, I think it's a vital part of the universe. I think it's something we all would love to understand better in different ways. And so it's something we definitely think about, and we thought about early on in concept here, whether it was something we wanted to pull in now or pull in later. But it's an important part of the canon.
And even outside that specific thread, there's a lot of, once we actually ingested the games, we had to look elsewhere, I think, to find Chief specifically. And so we definitely wandered off into what does the fiction actually kind of give us. And so there's some interesting details you might actually see if you pick a specific kind of multiplayer character on the feed, but talking specifically at the moment where the early young Spartans just in their tech suits are going up against, I believe it's ODST, and you don't hear them, you don't see them, dudes just start disappearing. And when you play the games, you don't get that sense. It's usually just a big dude, but they are intensely agile and ninja silent. And so there's things like the actual toe design for the tech suit actually has a little ninja tab-eye split in the middle for those specific things. And those are the kind of stuff that we actually pulled into the design.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's a lot that obviously we haven't revealed that we want to allow fans to experience for the first time when they play through the game and experience the campaign. But there's a lot that we've done to try and pull in that extended fiction. So hopefully, for fans such as yourself, you'll feel your dedication to that fiction is being rewarded. We hope.
And I will say, it's not impossible that there is just the tiniest little peek into some of that in the Forward into Dawn series.
Phenomenal.
It's not impossible. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
Other than Conan O'Brien, what other star power are you bringing to this Halo 4? Because I've seen other games in the past from Halo that have other big names. Can you name any that?
So what other star power? I mean, I think we've got an amazing cast that we've managed to assemble to play these characters, and some of those cast members are people that you will recognize. Just a personal favorite, Mark Rolston to me, being a longtime Aliens fanboy. Loved having him in the game, but we also have a number of performers that are coming together. It might not be as recognizable to you, but hopefully after you've seen their performances in the game, you will come to appreciate them because it is just an incredible ensemble cast across both the campaign story as well as the Spartan Ops story in that series as well.
Thank you. So we're going to try and go ahead and switch the signal over and see if this works. Yes. So before we quite kick this entire match off, if everyone who's up for the Q&A, if you can kind of find your seats again, because I just don't want you standing the whole time. We'll get back to some questions later. Thank you very much.
Capture the flag.
So we're going to show capture the flag.
We're going to turn the game game audio down a little bit so we can show you capture a flag.
That monitor is a bit too close, so I'm gonna go over here. Fitting with the Halo Reborn, Capture the Flag we treated from the very beginning as a completely new mode. And what we're seeing here is our new map, Exile. This is probably the largest map we've shown so far, and features lots of vehicles and ordnance. You can play it on the show floor, and we have our multiplayer devs here, Doug, Will, and Kate, demoing. What Doug's going to do here is demo the new Capturing the Flag, or Pick Up the Flag experience.
Carrying flag.
And a lot just happened there. So telling the story of a multiplayer match is really for player roles. And the flag carrier we knew was deep in Halo, but as we were rebuilding the experience, we really wanted the flag carrier to just be the ultimate badass. And so right away we had some music kick off. We a clear indication of what's going on the top with our new UI that sort of an individual presentation layer for every role you're taking in the match. He's also got a magnet.
I like to call it the flagnum. It's kind of sweet. I think you're noticing a lot of other new UI elements as well, Kevin. You've seen it before. We have the map ordnance as well. You can see some of the ones in the distance actually show up with a different opacity than the ones that are closer to you.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing the ordnance around the map that's showing up. This new saw on the left you can go after, but Doug's job right now is the flag carrier, is to deliver that flag. So you can see the deliver icon on the left. That shows up just for him and driving.
Flag jumps.
That's another new medal.
Kill their carrier.
So as Doug's earning these extra points now, he's really taking a much bigger role in the scoring system. We're going to talk more about that.
Flag capture. Carrier kill. Protect your flag.
Another big dynamic that's changed Capture the Flag is your flag no longer has to be at home to score, and we've changed the return logic, so you're getting the return is set on a strict timer, and that sort of sets the whole stage for the map and controlling this flag return area. This is the Goshawk, one of our new vehicles, and we're going to show off the teamwork medal here.
Flag reset.
Almost. This is a very live demo.
Road trip.
What's awesome about that medal is every player in that Warthog just earned that one. So it's a really great way of rewarding teamwork, and we're looking for these fun and exciting things that players are doing naturally and finding new ways to reward them. So Doug's driving here, and he also gets the deliver nav point, which is an example of our customized presentation layer for each player.
Capture assist.
And the flag driver assist, which is another new medal. And here's our Banshee. I think we're ready for the next mode.
Yep. So actually, we're going to show off a couple of the new vehicles. This is the Banshee, which is a returning favorite, but we've made quite a few changes from Halo Reach's iteration. Josh, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things that we did with the Banshee. We slowed down some of the Banshee tricks just to make it a little bit easier to track when it's in the sky. We also made the pulse cannons that fires plasma cannons a little bit more effective. And that's just because, when you think about the expanded, or all the expansions and changes to the sandbox, you've got all the players have sprint, they're moving much faster, so that makes it a little easier to take those players down. But also when you think about the Banshee, which has been at various times extremely dominant in Halo matches, you have to think about all of those expansions that we've made to the sandbox with the addition of things like plasma pistol and loadouts and other things. So we've tuned all of the vehicles in the game with that larger sandbox in mind.
And the Banshee's not the only returning favorite vehicle. I think you may have seen the tank Scorpion underneath here, and I think Doug's going to switch over and show off some of the changes to that vehicle as well. First thing you notice, looks brand new model. It's got new audio. And the secondary turret's actually been improved quite a bit from previous games. And as Josh mentioned, that was one of those balancing acts to kind of acknowledge all the new sandbox options, like plasma grenades, other things, plasma missiles that people have at their disposal. If Doug can shoot in the distance real quick with the big turret, the main cannon. See, in addition to the new audio, there's actually a little bit of a ballistic arc drop, so at extreme distances you really have to account for drops of the shell. So it's a little more difficult to hit at extreme distances and helping to balance out so you're just not constantly getting hit by tank over and over again while you're just trying to find some cover on the map.
Yeah, we also made some changes to the handles just to kind of, it's almost like a hybrid, right?
Yeah, we've gone back a little bit more to the Halo 3 style of handling compared to Halo Reach. If you remember, you sort of have to do some funky kind of, played Street Fighter, kind of Hadouken kind of stick movements to be able to turn in tight corners. And so that was something we sort of went back to more of the style of Halo 3 with the tank as well. So that's just two of the vehicles that are returning. This time we're actually going to switch over to a different mode and we'll show off something that we haven't shown publicly before. And so we guys are just going to switch out. And so while they're getting set up, we're going to kind of set up what we're going to be showing, and Kevin's going to talk a little bit about what we're going to see in this mode we're going to be show off.
Talk about the mode before we show it. It's even more fun. Yeah, so this is another classic mode that we're about to show you. It kind of fits with the same way we were looking at the capture the flag and really defining it as a new mode. So with Oddball, we were definitely looking at finding a new place for it, or finding a really good home for it in our matchmaking playlist. It did really well in previous Halo games as a free-for-all mode, and it was a great multi-team experience in Reach. But we really never felt a really great team experience because it's sort of the keep-away aspect of Oddball. So one big addition, which we're about to demo here, is throwing.
We teased that just a little bit back at San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to show it off in action. As the guys load into this game, we can go ahead and switch back over to the gameplay feed.
So I'll fill you in quickly on the setup for it. It's 5-on-5 Oddball, really focused on team experiences, and we've set up our hopper to be just that. And all the maps and experiences that it's set up on are sort of balanced and tuned specifically for this mode.
Hold the ball to earn points. Hold the ball to earn points.
Do it.
A little audio like that. So, as
you have the ball. First touch.
There's also a whole new set of medals for Oddball, so players are going to earn points for medal points and individual points for holding the ball longer, but also throwing them and passing them to their teammates.
Oddball was already kind of like the ultimate game of keep-away, and now we're just taking that to an extreme level.
Yeah. And the way I look at it on CTF, we've got these really established sort of objective lanes players are going through. But in Oddball, the whole map becomes this really dynamic playground, which, as he's describing, keep away the ball. It's thrown just like a grenade, so if you can throw a grenade, you can throw an Oddball.
You have the ball.
Catching it's a bit more difficult.
Long bomb.
And of course, you're not just throwing at teammates as well.
False activation.
You have the ball. Long bomb.
Man, they got really good at catching that in the last couple of days.
They've been practicing quite a bit.
Ball thrown. You have the ball. Long bomb.
This epic game of keep-away continues.
Yep, and that's Oddball.
Alright, that's Oddball. So we're not gonna end it quite right there. We actually do have one more mode we wanted to show off here today. And while we're setting that up, I think we have a little background and story Josh wants to share with us about what you're about to see.
Yeah, so last year we did the Halo Fest panel, and right after we kind of finished that up, and I was getting off the stage, I got completely cornered by Goosechecka from Grifball Hub, and so she asked me, what can you tell me about Grifball in Halo 4? And of course, we're working on tons of different things, and we're not able to talk about it. And so I was like, I can't really say anything except for we really like Grifball. But here today, we're going to be able to show for the very first time Grifball in Halo 4. We want to invite up on the stage Goosechecka and some of the other members of the other ballers from Grifball Hub, and they're going to help us demonstrate some of the new mechanics.
So some things to touch on Grifball. It's again a new mode for Halo 4, and it's got full customization that's just for Grifball. So all the Forge stuff we've shown off so far is completely compatible, and we're about to load onto the Grifball port on Forge map. This is a very small portion of the Forge map. There's the entire... There's a big world outside, in addition to this empty...
Just gonna plug that back in, we should be alright.
Technical difficulties.
Let's hope. There we go.
So this is also the first time we've shown off the new hammer. And there's our grip. So just in Oddball, you can also throw the Grifball. And we've been working closely with the Grifball teams to really sort of hone and create this relationship between the sword, the ball, and the hammer. And I've always seen it as a rock, scissors, paper, but it's so much deeper than that. And as their skills are about to show off, it really shows in the gameplay. So it also benefits from the new UI, and you get nice clear kill indicators. And let's see if we can demo a score here. How's it go together? One more thing about the Grifball is we've changed the scoring to be much faster paced. The ball will now reset at the beginning, and this is one of the new things we could do is it's its own mode. And there it goes. There's a score.
Another thing that Kevin was talking about before is the whole element of you have the grabbing hammer and the sword. There you see it in action. That actually plays an important role in ball control and Grifball this time around. Kevin, I wonder if you could talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. As we build Grifball, we've been learning and creating more of these tricks, and there's going to be many, many more that come. But one of the first ones we've looked at is the sword snatch. So with the sword snatch, you have a choice of hammering the enemy carrier or taking the more risky approach of using the sword. The benefit to the sword is they don't kill you first. The best part about these guys, they always play. It's just that you can't script it.
You can't ship the competitive nature.
No, they're always on competitive. So we'll see the sword try to go for a kill here. And you'll notice as soon as you kill them, the sword takes the ball away. So it adds a big dynamic. If you were to hammer him, the ball usually goes flying. The next one I want to show off.
And it makes a really loud thud.
So in Grifball, there's really two ways to pass the ball. The throw, which is similar to the Oddball throw, just like a grenade. But if you really want to get the ball down for it fast, they've mastered the hammer pass, which we can't do yet, but they are amazing at it. And it can very quickly, as you see, smash the ball across the board. Do a jump catch too. I'm pretty impressed with that. A few more tricks that are still developing are the boost and a few other long throws, and I think we'll get another 30 seconds or so of gameplay to see here. There it is.
We really gotta learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's Grifball. So thank you everyone for Grifball Hub for coming up to And at this time we do have one more thing we did want to share with everyone today, so if we can come back to the slide deck. Bye Grifball. Thanks Grifball Hub. Thank you very much. was made.
Well, just a quick thing, because I know we're running behind. First off, one thing we talked a lot about storytelling and character design and all that. One thing we didn't touch on was kind of the whole other half of storytelling, which is audio. Tajin, our audio director, is literally chained to his desk right now, finishing out the audio on the game, so he couldn't be here, but that is a really, really vital component of all of our storytelling goals. So I just wanted to send a shout out to Tajin and the audio team. You guys may have heard, we are working on this web series, Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn. I wanted to show you guys just a quick little thing today. It's what we call a vignette. It's kind of a tease for the series, and really what the series is about is it's kind of looking at the Halo universe with a little bit of a different lens than we've looked at with the games, and it's live action. It looks at just that moment when the human covenant war is just starting, and it gives you a glimpse into a character named Thomas Lasky and a few other characters. Commander Lasky is a really pivotal character in Halo 4, both in the campaign and in the Infinity series, and so it's something we're very excited about. We wanted to show you this little clip. I will say that we're showing it early. It will actually release on Machinima next week, and we ask that you, and my team knows when I say ask, I actually mean do, but I ask that you guys not film this part because Machinima is great partners. We want their release to feel great. We want people to be able to see it in HD in all its glory for the first time. So I kindly ask that all of you very expert cinematographers put your cameras down for this. But we thought this would be a fun clip to show you because it kind of ties into some of the gameplay stuff we showed today, and we just wanted to give you a little something new.
So if we can get the lights down, and it looks like I think I can see people turning their cameras off. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. We're going to give you a little tease on Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn. Because of the technical difficulties, we're actually not going to be able to take any questions today. We're running a little long. Real quick though, before we do head out, I just wanted everyone from 343 who's here, can you all just stand up? Because these guys have been working really hard for a long time. Straight there from here, and we'll see you there at the signing. Thank you very much, everyone.